we're going to make a small nightstand. It's been designed to fit inside of an 8-foot stick of 1x12 material. So anyway, that's what we're going to do today. So see, we're going to do a drawing first, and then we're going to do a material list. So here we go. So let's see, our first dimension, the top. So sketches, we like to make our line just as straight as we can. And then sketches are not like official ones where like a scale drawing or anything. This one looks like it's going to be a little squat of what it would normally be, but it'll be fine. It'll work out good. It's just a sketch. Okay, basic nightstand, just extend that over a little bit, give myself a little bit more room to put lines on it. All right, so the top is, let me just see, I already looked, but I forgot what the number was. All right, it's 16 1/2, so we'll draw 16 1/2 up here for lines across. Some of these numbers just like, why did he make it that way? Well, the reason is to fit inside of an 8-foot chunk of material. You know, otherwise we'd have to have you buy more material, and we want to be as efficient as we can be. So our height is 25 3/4. 25 3/4. All right, so then we got that. So then we want to know that width of the main body of the nightstand. It's going to be 3/4. It's going to be 3/4. Little overhangs are always nice. They let you hold a little bit more. So 16 1/2 minus 3/4 minus 3/4. Well, 3/4 and 3/4 is 1 1/2. And 1 1/2 minus 16 1/2 is 15 inches. So then we put this down at the bottom. And, oh, yes, we need this dimension here. This dimension, see there's a piece of wood here, it goes around the top. It helps us add support to the front edge of this nightstand, and gives us something to attach the top to. That's why that is there. I've tried building without that before, and it just it runs into a bunch of different little issues. The distance between here and here is 3/4. Let's see here where to put that. Like that. And put 3/4 there, and 3/4 here. We'll just know that that's 3/4. This is 3/4. Whenever you can, you want to put the dimension in between, otherwise you want to pull it off to the side like this. You want to keep the arrows and dimensions lines nice and neat and orderly, so you know what you're talking about when you're building things. 3 inches, okay? And then we're going to have like a dash line for the floor, because this piece of wood is actually vertical to the floor of this front piece. I'll show you that all in detail in a little bit here. So that is that. Let's do a side view now. Alright, so the side view would look like this. Again, we want these to kind of line up pretty good, you know. Do a decent job of doing that with the drawing sketch. And the floor roughly here. That line is so crooked. There we go. All right. So then we'll have 2 smaller pieces like this. Have a back coming down. Oh, this should be a dashed line. Here's our eraser here. I'll have a dashed line coming across here for the floor. This comes down all the way to the bottom of the floor. I don't know if hopefully you can see that. The floor of the cabinet, and then the back comes all the way down to the bottom of the floor. And it does make a difference. And then we have our shelf right here. We'll put right here the dashed line. All right. So overall, our wood comes in at 12 inches. And let's see here. Pardon me. Got that. Oh, and we want to have a dash line for that. So that is 12. This will be, we have a 3/4 overlay or overhang here on both sides. So on the front, we want a 3/4 overhang as well. All right, so if that's a 3/4 overhang, 12 minus 3/4 is, I know you all got the answer in your head. It's 11 1/4. Okay? And something I know from doing this in the past is this dimension here we know is 3 inches. This is a 3/4 inch piece of wood. The distance up is 3 inches. But in order to get our back length, we have to come to the bottom of the floor. That 3 inches comes to the top. We need to be at the bottom of the floor. So we take 3 inches minus 3/4 is 2 1/4. Hope you can read the writing here. All right, I think that is our sketch. And like I say, if we're missing something, we'll just fill it in as we go. There's going to be some dados and rabbits that we're going to have to make. I'm sure that'll make us have to have a detail. But we'll do that in just a minute. So let's label out what we got here. So it'll be side A, so it'll be letter B, and then we'll come down here. I suppose we can label this C, and then D, and then E. And whenever you have like a piece like this, see we've got our front facet here, this is actually drawn wrong. It should be like this. There you go. So this front piece will be 3 inches tall. So anything behind something, so behind, okay, that is important because it's a capital B. Stands for behind. So when I'm drawing something for, in my world anyway, in my room, and when you're drawing things for me, if you have another piece of wood that extends back behind a front piece, and the letter E is the front piece in this case, so this piece that actually creates the floor of the nightstand, you're going to say that's behind letter E. You'll see what I'm talking about when I do the material list. So we'll get back to that in just a minute. So obviously letter B is the top. It's also letter B here. So you could have it in 2 different places, but you only want it, if you only need one top, you just write 1 on your quantity, even if it says, so if you put a B here, just to make it easy for yourself. You know that's more of a reference, okay? And then the letter C, there's 2 of those because it shows it clearly right here. And if you need to, you can go with something like this and put a C in there so that you know those 2 components are letter C, and so on. Most of the time I don't bother with that because I know letter D is going to be the shelf, and I know that the back is the back. Oh, we need to put the back in there. So the back is also going to be called letter F, and you could just write back underneath it if you want. So, all right, well let's come up with our material list. I already kind of started way over to the left, or in the center too far, so let's go over here. So we have label, quantity, size, material. All right. So we're going to start with the letter A. I always start with the letter A. So letter A is going to be 25 3/4 less the 3/4 inch top. So it's going to be 25. And we need how many? 1, 2. 2 of them. All right. Size is going to be, let's see, 11 1/4 wide by 25 less the 3/4 for the top. So it's 25, and it's going to be basswood. Okay. Letter A, 2 of them, 11 1/4 by 25. Materials basswood. Letter B. Oh. There we go. All right, letter B, we got 1 of them, and the size is 12 by 16.5. Ditto. Letter C. Oh, see, we got 2 little ones, and there's a reason why I'm going to make them this size, but you just gotta sometimes you just gotta believe what I'm telling you. There is a reason for it, and we can go through an explanation of that sometime if we need to, or I can do it individually for you sometime. But we got how many? 1, 2 of them. Quantity 2. All right. And then what is the distance between? Because we've got to come from this side over to that side. So what is that width? So if these boards are 3/4 inch, this is 3/4. Here we go. 3/4 and 3/4. You can see here. Okay, so if we've got 2 3/4 minus 15. So the way I'd write that, if you're doing the math on it, so 15 minus 3/4 times 2. Okay, the hierarchy in math always says you do your multiplication, division, you do before you do the addition and subtraction. So 3/4 times 2 is 1.5. Subtract that from 15. So you take the 1 away from 15, you get 14. If you take the half more away, it's 13.5, right? And put that equal to 13 1/2. So it's going to be the width, so the distance from here to here, (1 11/16). 1 11/16 by 13.5. Back. So letter D, we're doing the shelf here. So the letter D is a shelf. 11 1/4 is our total width or depth. And there's a 1/4 inch back. Oh, we need to subtract the back so we can come up with the right depth. So 11 1/4 minus 1/4 is 11 inches. So there's 11, and then we're doing the shelf, so then we want to know the distance between, so 15 minus 3/4 times 2 is equal to 13.5. 13 1/2. Oh, but we got to put a dado in there. Okay, so let's erase 13.5 for a moment because we have to put a dado in. I said I was going to have to show you a detail, and this is a detail, all right? So we're going to call this detail, or view A. Oops. View A. If you're going to put a view in like that, you want to put it in such that you know that it's a capital letter. That way it's very obvious what it is. So down here out of the way, we put view A. And then we can go ahead and do a detail of it. So here's our outside wall coming down. That's our letter A. Comes down. I'm going to draw this a little bit bigger than normal. And it's going to come back in, come back up, out. All right. And so the distance to the top of this floor right here, you know by our drawing, is 3 inches. I'll put arrows in there. Okay, so that is 3 inches. This distance from here, oh, let's just put the floor right in there. That is going to be behind E. All right, so let's see, it's 3 inches, that's 3/4. So we've got located, this is called the dado, or yeah, this is the dado because it's at 3 sides. And this is 1/16. 1/16. Okay? So that's why we got to add. It's the same thing up here on letter D as it is down here on letter E. Okay? So it'll be both these behind E here and letter D will be the same width. So we came up with a dimension for letter C. No, where's our 13.5? Yes, that's right. So it's 13.5 inches wide between this wall and that wall. Now we got to add to that our dado, which is 1/16 on each side. So 2/16 is actually 1/8. So it'd be 1/8. So we got 13.5 plus 1/16 times 2 equals 13. Getting a little punchy here. 13 5/8. So all you did is add 1/8 to 1/2 because 2 1/16 is 1/8. Clear as mud? Glad you're not here to tell me. All right, 13 5/8. Boy, I gotta drive to St. Paul. 13 5/8. All right, basswood. All right, letter E. Okay, this is this piece here. This is letter E right here. We need one of them. I'm not going to put anything on for the dado yet. We do have to have a dado there, so it's 13.5 by the depth. So in this one we got 11 1/4. So 11 1/4 front to back base section minus 1/4 for the back minus letter E, which is 3/4 thick. I'll put that in here. 3/4. Okay, minus 3/4. So 1/4, when you have two negatives, you can add them together. So 1/4 plus 3/4 is 4/4, which is 1 inch. So that's going to be, actually let's put in here letter E. Okay, so 1 inch minus 11 1 inch minus 11 1/4 is 10 1/4. Okay, 13.5 wide, but usually I put the larger number in front, so we'll go like that. And this will be 10 1/4. Basswood. All right, doing good. And we have letter F. Why I made it a capital, I don't know, but I did, so here we are. We only got one back. Now we have another rabbit to take care of. It's where the piece of wood comes into the side of the letter A. It's where the back piece comes into the letter A's, so it's flush. So this is what, well, let's do a detail on it from the, so we'll do a bottom view. And you do that by doing something like this. We're going to go like that. We put the arrows on just one side, the pointers. And then you can put view B on that. usually always a capital, okay? So anyway, what we're trying to get at is what this looks like on the end. So looking up at the back side, it'll look like this. Let's see here, I gotta come up with it in my head. Now let's do it on the other side, it's easier for me to draw. So anyway, we have this a little bit expanded too. I have it that far out of scale there, that looks better. All right, so this is 1/4. That is the thickness of our back piece, okay? And this is 3/8. And the back is always going to be 3/4. Or the letter A's are 3/4, we know that. So that's a fixed number, all right. Now, the 3/8 is 3/8 because it's roughly half of 3/8, or 3/4. So 3/8 is half of 3/4. And then the depth, 1/4, is the thickness of the sheet stock we're going to use for the back. So that's all. I forgot to detail it. That's view B. Usually put it up on top. See, it's been one of those days. U, V, and I'm just going to put like a little circle around that. Make sure we kind of know the extent of it there. All right, so now that we know that it's 3/8 wide by 1/4 inch deep, we can do our finish our design for the back. So we know our total width is 15. We'll just write the math over here. So 15 total width minus, okay, if half of 3/4 is 3/8, then this side over here is going to be 3/8. So we can go with minus 3/8. We have one on this side and one on that side, so we need two of them. Times 2 equals, and then that should be our width number. So 15 minus 3/8, 3/8 times 2 is actually 3/4. We always have to do multiplication before we do our addition subtraction. 3/8 times 2 is 3/4. So this is actually 3/4. When we want to subtract 15 minus 3/4 is 14 1/4. Is that right? Yes. 14 1/4 by, and what is our height? Did I already do that math? 25 3/4. 25 3/4 minus 3/4 for the top. That'd be letter B. Minus 2 1/4, which is this number here. It's 3 inches minus the floor to get to the bottom of the floor. So 3 inches minus 3/4 is 2 1/4. So that's where it is right here. So 25 3/4 minus 3/4 minus 2 1/4 is equal to 22 3/4. All right, does that make sense? 3/4 plus 2 1/4 is 3. So you just simply subtract 3 from 25 3/4. You come up with 22 3/4. So that becomes 22 3/4. Now that is our back, and our back is 1/4 inch thick. So we're going to just use some veneered plywood for that. So it's 1/4 inch pine MDF. Oops. MDF. All right, French pine MDF. Okay, and so that is all our wood pieces. Now we just have to count screws. All right, so we'll put a caret mark about where they should go. So 2 in the front down here, 2 down here. That's 2, 4. Now we gotta attach the behind E in there. Where's our behind E? Ah, I did not put in the behind E. Just put it down here behind. We're gonna have to step back one, and we gotta put the floor in. We already have that here somewhere, don't we? This is our behind E. So I never did E. All right, well, I'm glad I caught that. So just our regular E, we'll need 1. So 15 minus 3/4 is, and all of you got it in your head, it's 13 1/2. The height is 3 inches. And because I put this in here, I can't put ditto, so I just gotta put in basswood again. Well, I'm glad we caught that. See, by going through this, you catch more mistakes by writing it down. And that's what I just did. So the system works. All right, now we're counting screws again. So 2 on this side, 2 on that side. We'll have 2 in the ends here. So 1 here and 1 here, 1 here, 1 here on both sides. And then we'll need something to attach that top to. So I'll have 1 there, and then on the other side as well. So let's do that. Got 2, 4, 6 on the other side would be 8. 10 on the other side would be 12. I jump a number. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 on the back side. And then add the 4 for the top. So we're looking at about 16 screws. 16, and we have, let's see here, 16, what are they called? Face frame screws, pocket hole screws. Pocket hole screws. PHS, 16 pieces. Actually, I just put 16 screws. Screws. All right. So that is the sketch and dimensioning for that, and here's the material list for the nightstand. So that is what I have for you on that today, and I hope you've got it all written down in your books. Thank you.